here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven? How do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have a phenomenal guest lined up for you tonight. I cannot wait to introduce you to this young man. Jaime Jay is in the house. He is in the green room waiting for me to lift him up and bring him up to the stage. And that's really exactly why I'm here, is to lift up and really get great exposure for amazing entrepreneurs like Jaime, because that is what we do here on the Mind Body Business Show. We interview successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. And the reason I interview them is because I like to elicit and extract their secrets to their success for the sole purpose of you being able to take those secrets, to take notes, and then put those secrets in action so that you can achieve the same or even more greater level of success than our guests have. And that is the whole purpose of this show, is twofold: is to give you what you need to take your business to the next level, and is to give my guests the exposure they so greatly deserve and get their name out and spread out, because the people I have on my show are so heart-centered, and it would be a disservice if we did not spread their name and their beautiful minds with the rest of the world. I think you would agree with that, especially when you see and meet people like Jaime, who's coming on very soon, I promise. So that's what the Mind Body Business Show is all about. It's about what I call the 3 pillars of success. And that came from literally about 10 years of studying only successful people. I started focusing on what makes someone else perhaps more successful than yours truly. What is it about them that's different that makes them even more successful? And these 3 pillars, these 3 things kept bubbling up to the top, and you might have guessed what those are. They are indeed the very title of this show: mind being mindset. Now, to a person, each of these individuals that were successful had very positive, powerful, and the most important part, here's the kicker, very flexible mindset. And body literally meant and means that they took care of themselves and take care of themselves, both physically and nutritionally. It's that simple. And then business is multifaceted. I love business because the topic of it is what I mean, because there are so many skill sets that one must master in order to build a successful, thriving business, and then to take that business and scale it and grow it and bring in more customers, serve more people. That is why Jaime Jay is here tonight. You're going to learn how you can scale your business to the moon and really up your game and bring in more and more clients, serve them, help more people, make more money so you can continue to scale and grow. I cannot wait to get into that with Jaime here in just a moment. Many skill sets are needed to master. The good news is, if you only master one skill set, I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. I mean, I could keep going for quite some time. The good news is you don't have to master every single one of them, because let's face it, mastering just one takes a long time. Mastering anything takes a long time. If you just master the one skill set of leadership, then you now have the cornerstone of all skill sets to then bring in, hire, joint venture with those who already have mastered the skill sets that you have yet to or may never master, just because of the sheer time involved with all of them. So concentrate on mastering the skill set of leadership first, or refocus on that now. And even if you don't have a team, focus on leading yourself. We can go through a whole topic on that for another time. Just focus on mastering leadership, and you will see incredible things happen. And you'll be able to quickly develop a system and a team that Jaime Jay, who is coming on in just a moment, will help you with. And I can't wait to get to that detail as well. And to a person, another thing I noticed about these incredibly successful people was that they were all also very voracious readers of books. And with that, I want to segue very briefly into a segment I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
There you see reachyourpeaklibrary.com right there on the screen. If you're watching this live, I hope you are. And if you're not, go to the mindbodybusinessshow.com. Register, click on any of those buttons. You're going to get a free gift, a valuable gift of a discount card for a hotel. I've used them. They are legitimate. There's no there's nothing shady going on there. It's phenomenal. In fact, you don't pay anything. You get paid to just register. And all we do is announce when we go live. And you will get an email with a link. You click the link and you're here watching us live. And you can engage with us, comment with us, ask questions, and get exposure for yourself even. So be sure to do that. So reachyourpeaklibrary.com. One quick word of advice before I continue with that. And that is, instead of, succumbing to that itch to go off and check it out on your own while the show's running. So instead of going off and typing in reachyourpeaklibrary.com in a browser and checking it out, instead of doing that, I would implore upon you to instead write it down, take notes, and then visit the resource after the show is over, because I know Jamie is going to have several resources for you as well. And I would hate for you to miss that one golden nugget that he is about to tell you that could change your life forever, because you weren't focused on what he was saying. You were off typing in another resource. So write it down and keep your attention and gaze on Jamie as the show goes on, because I like to say that the magic happens in the room. And this has happened from stage. This is from experience of speaking from stage, watching somebody get up and leave the room because they had to go to the bathroom, or they had that all important phone call or text message come in. Silence your phone, unless you're watching this on your phone, of course, and pay attention, stay focused. That's my soapbox moment. Reach Your Peak Library is a site that I literally had designed and developed with you in mind. Why is that? I myself was not a voracious reader until about 11 years ago, at the ripe age of 47. All right. Yes, you're all doing the math. You now know where I stand today. That's good. I love it and I own it. And so I began reading at about the age of 47, and I began listening to books on Audible, and that was the key for me. I did not like using my eyeballs to read. I didn't even know that. That was one of the issues that kept me from reading. And so I started listening, and I've listened to many books since then. Not every book I've ever listened to has made it to this list. In fact, I am well behind. But not every book I have read and finished is even on this list. Only those that have had profound impact on me, either in my professional life, my personal life, or even both. And I just started having them added to the site willy-nilly. I mean, there is no rhyme or reason. They're not alphabetic. They're not by author. They're just thrown in there. So just scroll through there, find the first book that resonates with you that you have not read, or maybe you want to read it again. Go pick it up off your shelf if you already have it. Go buy it. It doesn't have to be from this website. You can go to anywhere, your favorite bookstore, Amazon. All these buttons go straight to Amazon. It doesn't matter. The point of this is to give you a gift, something that another successful entrepreneur has vetted every one of these books. So the odds of you not wasting your time on reading a book are greatly increased. Can't guarantee it'll give you the same result it did for me. Oh my God, the 4 Agreements. That's one of my favorite, like Don Miguel Ruiz. So I can't guarantee you'll get the same results I did, but at least the odds are increased that you will get positive results by reading books, because they are life changers. I kid you not. Speaking of life changers, we've got one waiting in the wings that's going to literally change your life. I'm not kidding. You cannot. I can't wait to have him on. And my God, here we go. Let's just bring him on so Brian quit stammering. Jaime Jay is coming on right now. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one. It is the only Jaime Jay. Hey, Jaime, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Brian. What a incredible intro there. Fantastic.
Woo. Yeah, and every word was true of you for sure. And I just want to know, when did ZZ Top stop touring? Loving the beard, man. It is awesome. You're rocking the beard. And I'll tell everyone before we get into the show, I've gotten to know Jaime not for a very long time. We had a good chat some time ago, several months ago, really connected with this guy. And then just before this show, what an amazing man, what an amazing heart he has. And I'm so blessed to be able to share him with you, because I think he is making a big difference in our world in a positive way in so many ways. And you'll find out another reason why when I formally introduce him in a moment.
Ooh.
But with things that, take money to operate, we need to do some housekeeping, as I like to call it. And what's more like bookkeeping, if you think about it. But what we're going to do is bring up a few ad spots, and then Jamie and I will be back. So don't go anywhere. Hang with us. Watch this, and we'll be right back. So we'll be here. Here we go. Hey, if you're watching the Mind Body Business Show live right now, then you will have the ability to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort of your choosing, compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. What is it? It is a 5-night vacation stay to one of many destinations across the world. You can see as we go through this very quickly, there's some in Branson and Daytona Beach. These are in the United States, all over the United States, New Orleans, San Diego. There's also Mexico. There's also the UK and Argentina. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. Australia. At the end of this show, you will be given the ability to enter to win. You must be watching this live. If you're not watching live, then head on over to themindbodybusinessshow.com and register to receive automated notifications when we go live the next time. We do not spam. We do not even pitch any products or anything from that notification. It's just simply a way for you to know that we're live, and now you can join us, and you can also participate in this incredible, incredible prize, and you do not want to miss this. So come on live, and you do not want to miss a moment because of our incredible guest experts, and stay on to the end, and we will reveal that at the very end. And if you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people and grow your business all at the same time, then write this down: carpetbombmarketing.com. Then head on over to it after the conclusion of tonight's show. Carpet Bomb Marketing. Saturate the marketplace with your message. And to get a free lifetime membership to a phenomenal resource called the Reach Your Peak Club, your free membership will include instant access to deep discounts on major software, services, and top shelf training courses that you need to run your successful business. Think of it as your entrepreneur discount house. Catapult your business to the next level. Sign up for free now and get a hotel discount card worth $200 just for joining. Then go and grab your deep discounts. So write this down, and then after the show, once again, head on over to reachyourpeakclub.com. All right, now let's get back to the show. Yes, let's get back to the show already. My gosh, who is that yammering on forever? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jaime Jay. He is the founder and managing director of Bottleneck Distant Assistants. And it was founded in 2016. And Bottleneck is an outsourcing agency that helps businesses identify, hire, and cultivate their workforce through a carefully designed, systematic approach to growth. Ooh, I love the words there. He is a veteran U.S. Army paratrooper who received the Army Achievement Medal for Meritorious Service. And Jay's additional business experience includes a 12-year career in corporate America, and advanced education in business administration and management at the Florida Institute of Technology. Jay likes networking with big picture thinkers and proudly proclaims he is unemployable. I love that one. In his spare time, he enjoys playing hockey, riding his Harley-Davidson, camping, boating, playing guitar, shooting guns, traveling, and spending time with his wife, Sara, and their dog, Nikita. With that, ladies and gentlemen, officially and formally, welcome to the show, Mr. Jaime Jay. Yes. Oh, man. I am so excited for this, Jamie, because of you and what you bring to the table. And I was just curious if you wouldn't mind opening up with a quick little story. We were talking before the show. And again, I'll say this now publicly. I said it to you privately. Thank you for your service, for help, for serving this amazing country of ours. Deeply in gratitude and debt for you choosing to do that for us, for all of us, including yourself and your family and your loved ones. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for serving this wonderful country of ours. What I wanted to find out is, do you have any stories from your old paratrooping days when you were jumping out of perfectly healthy flying aircraft that were not going to crash? You just jumped out of them anyway. Do you have any stories for that?
Yeah, we were talking. I said I did have one story, and it's kind of funny. It usually brings up a pretty good chuckle. But in basic training, you get assigned a roster number, and that's what they call you. They don't call you by your name. Your number 127. That was my roster number in basic. Well, I had the same roster number, 127, in jump school. After I graduated basic and AIT, then I go on to jump school, and I was going to be assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division. And so we get there, and everywhere in jump school, you got to double time. You're running everywhere, and it's funny. And we went through the first 2 weeks of training, and then the last week of training, you actually do 5 jumps to get your certification and get your jump wings. Well, I was walking in. They're called chocks, but they're lines, and there's 4 lines. There's 2 inboard and 2 outboard. And I was walking in. I don't know, probably 10th or 11th in line, and one of the jump masters goes, 127, back of chalk 1, and I'm like, oh, thank the Lord, I'm gonna be the last one, And I was like, because I was nervous. I was same with everybody else, and so we board the plane and takes off, and we're sitting down, and then it dawned on me, wait a second, I was the last person on. That means I'm going to be the very first person. So the commands start: outboard personnel stand up, hook up, sound off for equipment check, check static line. All this commands are going. And when they say sound off for equipment check, basically what that means is the very last person, I'm the first person, I'm in the back, but the very last person turns around, the second person checks their equipment, and he turns around, and then you slap him on the behind, and they say, okay, and that goes on all the way up through the line. And then I feel that big slap on my behind, and I'm supposed to take one authoritative full step forward, hand at a 45-degree angle, looking at the jump master in his eyes, and I'm supposed to say, all okay, jump master. And that's the signal for us to go. And I stepped up, and I thought I said that, but what actually came out was, I couldn't formulate the sentence correctly. And he goes, what did you say, you? Yelling. So it was crazy. Then they finally got it out. Okay, all okay, jump master. And I'm freaking out. And there's a big yellow line. You go stand your toes on that line, and the door opens, and all this wind's flying after they call the 30 seconds, and all that stuff is done. And so I'm standing there on the door. He goes, just don't look down. When that light turns green, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to jump master. And he says, that's right. Just don't look down. I looked down. The trees are this big, and it was just scary. And sure enough, that light turned green, and I went out. And when you jump out, you count 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And if your chute doesn't automatically open, you hit your reserve. Well, I jumped out, and it was, my chute opened. I was like, man, this is freaking fantastic. I love this. Then all of a sudden, you fall 22 feet a second in a Dash 1 Bravo parachute is what and you can't control them. You just barely pull a slip in. And boy, that ground was coming up quick. And boy, man, I rushed into that, and I landed, and my training kicked in, so I was fine. But it's the equivalent of jumping off about a 12-foot wall. Wow. Is how hard you fall. So you really got to learn how to fall right. And boy, it was just I was checking myself. Am I still here? Like, and so that was my first experience.
I love it. And it's a lot like it, man, there's so many parallels here. It's like business. It's like taking that leap of faith in your own business. And it's Absolutely. Scary. It's never, and usually what I say is, I've learned a lot on mindset, trained in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And what I've learned is when you're feeling that trepidation, but it's good for you, that is your subconscious telling you, go, this is what you need to do. Get used to being uncomfortable, Absolutely. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Somebody else coined that phrase. I think it's perfect. And what a great, you didn't say this on purpose to be a metaphor for business, but it truly is because it's like life. And then when you hit the ground and you successfully completed that, you felt elated and fantastic. And that's the way it is with business. Even every single day. I mean, I had so many victories today, little micro victories, but man, it felt like I landed and my knees were intact and I'm like, I'm okay. And so it's very similar. I was like, man, I was living it with you. So thank you for that. That is amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely.
So you used to work in corporate America. So what was your strategy? How did you, there are so many people I've run into, and I've been in this situation myself personally. And so I'm very familiar with, working with others who don't want to work for another company, but have no clue how to sever those ties, how to release themselves of those shackles. Because you're getting paid on a regular basis, either every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is, but that paycheck's coming. Becoming an entrepreneur is scary because you never know where your next one's coming.
Yep.
For you, what was the key or keys to break free from corporate? Did they help you to break free by pushing you out the door? Did you leave on your own accord? And what were the things that led to your ultimately leaving? And what did it feel like? I know it was a lot, but
yeah, that was super scary. But I'm still a kid. I think it takes me forever to learn how to do the right thing. I've made so many mistakes that I knew I shouldn't have done, and that happened. So in the span of a dozen years, I worked for 5 different companies.
Wow.
So that's moving pretty quickly.
Yes.
Moving, thinking the grass is always going to be greener. And it was in 2 different industries. It was in technology and it was in radio. It seemed like, man, for the first 2 companies I left, I didn't leave on good terms. I had personality conflicts with people there, and obviously I was doing something wrong. As I look back in it and reflect, I wasn't being intentional. What I later learned is to build really good relationships and always be upfront and honest and transparent. And, if that's not what is going to work for me there, then I understand that we need to separate. I totally get it that I'm not part of, I don't agree with the core values or the vision or mission, something there. And if I'm going to impede their progress, sure enough, it's time for me to go. But what I did finally find out is I had the, I guess you can say, kind of cojones. I've finally figured it out. Hey, this is what I want to do. And fortunately, the last position I had, I let them know what I wanted to do, and they supported me. And they ended up being my first client when I transitioned away. And so I learned through several iterations, it's very important not to burn those bridges and to do everything you can, and be intentional. If you're there, you chose to be there. Nobody else forced you to be there. So if you chose to be there and you're unhappy, make the best of that situation, but follow your passion, follow what it is that you want to do. And the hurt and the pain was so much in corporate America for me. I'm not saying corporate America is bad. For me, it was so painful that I had to go somewhere else to continue challenging myself and do something so where I could kind of follow my passion. I know it kind of sounds cheesy, but that's how I felt. And I really wanted to do my own thing. And boy, oh boy, 2006 is when I started.
That's fantastic. And so when you actually made that decision, I mean, did you already have external clients lined up, some kind of income working? Were you doing the side hustle thing while you're working a full-time job or after you're working your full-time job each night? How did that transition occur?
That's where it got a little scary because I had one client, the organization that I worked with.
Wow.
But I knew that if I stuck with it, it would be okay because I would have the time to do it. I had a super small little tiny bit of savings, not much at all. But that's how I started. And it was just grassroots, I'm kind of working out of my bedroom turned office here, but that's how I've always been.
I love it. And this is inspiring for people, that are out there trying to make that same decision. And I would encourage you to reach out to Jaime, because not only will he help you with that decision if you're in that boat, but he has the resources to kind of accelerate your success in getting you up and solvent quicker. I know this because of what he does. When I finally made the decision, this is before I met Jaime, I made a decision to implement a strategy that he offers for and we're going to get into this, don't worry, that he offers for entrepreneurs and small businesses, maybe even large businesses. But once you employ the strategy, so many things open up. I mean, instantly, and your mindset changes. It's like, wow. And so let's get to the elephant in the room. Jaime, what is your business? What do you do? In a nutshell, what is it you do, and who do you serve as far as businesses that help them to literally exponentially grow their business in a much more shorter period of time?
Right. So our provocative point of view is stop doing the wrong things so you can focus on doing your best work. I saw one of the books that as you were scrolling earlier, was E-Myth Revisited.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a great example in that book by someone starting, was it a bakery?
Yes.
Or I think it was a bakery, and they just loved baking. And then they found out, oh man, now I got to do books, and now I got to manage people, and I have to do all these other things. And it affected them in such a negative way that it took all the fun out of what used to be a passion of theirs. And so we find the same thing with a lot of people that start either startups or entrepreneurs, or even people that have been in the same business for a couple of years. It just gets old to them and they get burned out. And what we did is we have aligned our core values around that provocative point of view, because no matter what, if you own your business, whatever it is that you're doing in life, if you're married, if you're anything in life, I always give them the 80-20 rule. 20% of the time it's going to be mucky and muddy, and it's just going to be work. But the reason you go through that is because you love, or you're so passionate about something or someone, because you know you're going to be rewarded. If you get through this stuff, clean the dishwasher tonight or whatever it is, get through that, because you'll be cuddling with your wife or your husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, 15 minutes later on the couch, watching a show together. And that's the kind of the push that we need. It's the same thing in business. I still do stuff that I don't care to do, but I know I need to get it done. Strategy, or, talking with an upset client. That's no fun, but I'm intentional about it because I know that I have the confidence to where if we're able to communicate effectively and work this out, which is one of my 3 skills that I think are paramount to anybody: adaptability, resilience, and effective communication. But if you can just get through that, you're going to be rewarded, because then you get to go on Brian Kelly's show and you get to do stuff like that. That's really fun. So those are probably some of the things that I think you asked early on, how was I scared and all that? I was so passionate about it. And people say, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I call BS on that. But I will say, if you find something you truly do well and you really enjoy, you'll excel, as long as you're focused on a really defined and well thought out vision that you align with, and in a mission that you do every single day. The mission are the objectives. The vision is where you want to get to. If you can align yourself with that core values and the team members buy into that or believe in that vision, man, it's a pretty powerful recipe.
Yeah, and you kind of just let the cat out of the bag. You said team members, huh? Where would one go to find team members that could be plugged into their company, their business, their system in rapid format, to where they're more hitting the ground running? Because I've heard the horror stories of people looking for help, and they would interview countless number of VAs, and they sound great, they look great, their resume is fantastic, they hire them, and then they're a flop and they just become a cancer. And I know that is something you help with, is qualifying people. You have many of them in your repertoire that you are already vetted. So if you wouldn't mind, so real quick though, the VAs are what I'm talking about, virtual assistants. And that was the one thing that was a game changer for me in my business. Just getting that first one and realizing you have help. And it teaches you to do things that you will learn in the E-Myth Revisited, that very book you just mentioned, and that's building your systems. He said somewhere in the book, he said, if you have no systems in your business, then you have no business. Like, whammo, right between the eyes. That was me. I had no systems. I didn't have help. I had nothing. And I have since then grown. I've got a team. I've got systems, standard operating procedures. I record everything, document if issues need to be taken care of, they're technical in nature. I'm recording those so future VAs can look at those if we have a similar nature come up, a similar issue. And wow, realizing, so when you say you'll never have, if you love what you do, you'll never have to work another day. That's true. It is BS, but the more you have people to help you and a system employed around it, the more happy you'll be, and the less you'll be in that 20% of the goo and the guck. So if you wouldn't mind, I would love to hear an overview of literally what you do, your business. I'm going to pull up your website, and if you would feel like it, I'm sure you can think of one or two success stories, or even someone currently using your services that had a profound effect on them making that decision to get more help, if they already had help, or if those who had no help and finally got help and said, holy crap, where have you been all my life? That would be great as well. So if you don't mind, I'd like to hand it over to you for a bit and give us a rundown of everything you guys do and the successes you've had.
Yeah, and thank you so much. So the name of my company is called Bottleneck Distant Assistants. And distant assistance is a new category that we created. So we're proud to say we're the world's first dedicated distant assistant company. And I think there's a really strong delineation. None is better than anything else. I say we're just a little different. And a virtual assistant, in my opinion, is more transactional based in nature. A lot of times people misinterpret a virtual assistant as AI or machine learning as well. And that's a really big topic right now. A distant assistant is more of an intimate-based relationship, and we really focus on training so that they understand to seek out and study the vision, the mission, the core values, the provocative points of view of our clients, so that they build that deep personal relationship with one another. And what we found is that the industry average right now in the VA industry is a 38% turnover rate. Bottleneck is 4%. And the reason why is because our clients, they get to see, by extension, themselves doing so much more. And again, we go back to that provocative point of view. Stop doing the wrong things so you can focus on doing your best work. Well, those things that you may not get a lot of energy from, checking your email or doing your calendar or answering the phone or, doing research that's so time consuming, your assistant that you hire thrives on that. And they love the detail. They love being able to say, check out this amazing PowerPoint I put together based on what you wanted me. And you're just like blown away. Wow, that is so cool. What that allows me to do is not get into the weeds in any one type thing. And my brain, the way it works, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm a little ADD, squirrel syndrome, and, they can bring you back down to reality a lot of times and keep you organized and structured that way. But what we do here is we really work with clients to help pursue what it is that they want to do. And we do this through what we call as a delegation roadmap. And that delegation roadmap is pretty straightforward. I learned this from the wonderful Scott Beebe, where you basically list down everything you do in a given day. Anything that you do that could be repeatable, everything. And this is a time where you need to take a break, take an hour or 2 hours, let everybody know in advance, schedule this thing so the family's aware or whatever the case may be. And you need to sit down with a cup of coffee, if it's a glass of wine at night, whatever it is that you like to do, but keep it just quiet so you can concentrate. You list down everything you can do and you assign 2 values. Number 1, is it something you must do or can you delegate this task? And number 2 is, does this task bring energy to you or does it just completely drain you of energy? What you get from that is a subset task list of all the tasks that you can delegate and all the tasks that don't bring you energy. Now you start lining all of those tasks into different job roles. Is this an executive assistant that can help me? Is it a web developer? Is it an audio or video editor? Is it, a graphic designer? Is it a social media person? And whichever list is the longest, that's the first role you go after. That's the first one. And a lot of times I highly recommend people hiring executive assistants because they can help build that out for you. Yeah. And they start learning who you are. They start learning your tone, your voice. And before you know it, they start finishing your sentences. A lot of times at the end of a call or a consultation, I'll say, bye for now. Well, so do our assistants. It's just weird how that kind of picks up. And so that's kind of what we do. And one of the big differentiators, you talked about this, systems. I love systems, processes. I love it. I love workflows. So all of our assistants are trained in workflow management. They go to Bottleneck Academy, and they don't pay anything for this. We cover all the costs for it. But once they go there, they learn how to build workflows based on instructions given them by our clients. And after the 60-day onboarding, what's really cool about that is we deliver to all of our clients a workflow manual branded in their brand, with a table of contents, with every single task delegated to them, step by step, built out. And what does this do? It does two things. Number one, it can help with evaluations, because now you're discovering the foundation to systemize the entire process of your organization. And number two, it gives you the confidence knowing that everything you've delegated is delegated up to, or hopefully exceeding, your level of expectations. And now you feel more comfortable delegating more responsibility or more authority to that person. We've oftentimes seen those assistants get promoted in their organizations. My executive assistant started with me 4 years ago, is now our director of operations. She runs the company. And it's stories like that we know we can guide and support our clients in getting to that level to where they focus on doing their best work.
That is phenomenal. And I've actually learned more in this chat than I did when we first had our talk. And I'm even more duly impressed, especially with the fact that you're doing all that with a bottleneck workflow and the training that you're giving them, and that it's branded to the client, and you're already establishing a culture awareness with the assistant, or what do you call, what is your term for your people? It's not virtual assistant, because you do
distant assistants.
Distant, okay. And I like that you're differentiating that, because truly what you're doing is different, and it distances you from other agencies and assistant provider. Oh my gosh, everything you just said just was so in alignment with what I'm going through right this very moment. I've been working with an agency, and the main VA that I have, I call her my primary VA. I've been slowly kneading and helping and massaging and helping her to become more of a manager than a technician, while she's still doing technician work for me, so that when the time comes where we expand, I've already told her ahead of time, I will put you in charge of doling out the tasks, while you may still do some of them, and we'll have that chat. I'm going to let her choose what she wants to do and what she wants to offload. It's going to be her choice, not mine, because I know what she's great at, and it will be her responsibility then to make sure that other person is at least as good as she is. That's going to be hard, because she's freaking awesome. But every step of the way, though, I always get her buy-in, and I don't force her to do something she is not in alignment with. And I tell her, please be honest with me. It's better to be honest with me now than go down the road and determine, oh crap, I just said that to make you happy. And I'm like, no, don't do that ever, please. We have a great relationship. And so all this is perfect, because it resonates strongly with what I've internally developed. And, the culture is so important, being in alignment with a business's culture, understanding, just like you said, they start talking like you. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. But that's good news, especially for those who start doing social media content on your behalf. Now they're writing as you would write. They're talking not exactly, but very close.
Absolutely.
And so it resonates with people that know you. And everything you said is just, you got me like freaking excited. I'm such a geek, but I love this stuff. I love systems too. I hate process. I used to. I hate documentation. I used to, because now documentation isn't documentation so much. It's turn on Loom or some other screen recorder, narrate what you're doing. That is the document. If you can follow these instructions, then you're hireable. If you can't, you're not. And if you can't, boy, there's something wrong, because they're pretty simple the way we make them. And so, yeah, thank you for kind of affirming what I think is the right way to go about things. And you take it to another level with the way you treat your clients. And that's very impressive. So kudos to you. And I can see why you're so successful just in that, and that your retention rate, 4%. Oh my God, that's pretty awesome. Meaning only 4 drop, not 4 stay on. Yeah. To make sure that was clear. But yeah, thank you so much for letting us know. And towards the end of the show, I mean, you all saw, if you're watching this live, it's bottleneck.online is the website you'll go to then have that initial call. There's a button there that says book a consultation. Will they talk with you, your wife, a team member? How does that work?
It depends.
Okay.
It just depends on who's up in the queue. But if I'm more than happy to talk with anybody. Raina talks with a lot of them. We have Phil. It's just, I mean, and I also like to introduce them to the team. I like them to see, because there's a lot of challenges. They say, do they even speak English? Or, some of the problems I've had to tell them every single thing to do. And, it's just probably not a good, but when I give them an opportunity to actually speak with the team and let them know what they do and their independent thoughts, and how I embrace all of that, and they get to see us interact, and they can almost start seeing themselves. Oh, yes. I could be doing stuff like that. That's extremely powerful, because if you've never done anything before, or you've had a bad experience, it's very difficult to take that step again, or for the first time. And so by example, it's really nice to present them with, real life scenarios and what's happening.
It gives them an immersive environment to see it and live it and breathe it and in real time. And they can then, like you said, visualize themselves being part of that. And that's another great thing. You are so astute. And you have this incredible, I can't think of the word of it. It's just astuteness. But you really understand what is so effective. It's and the reason I'm saying that is because it's obvious you've been doing this a while. You've gone through the school of hard knocks, as have I, and we've learned, and we're still not perfect. You're not, I'm not, and that's okay. The cool thing is, I can tell you're one of those that's willing to say, you know what, that could be improved, so give us a moment and we'll improve on that. I mean, I've just done that recently, and it took me physically, myself personally, an entire day to build out, in this case, a new automation. I'm an automation freak. I love that stuff. But do what you love, and I love automation, by the way. So that was not.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It comes easy to me. It's natural, and I just enjoy the heck out of it. Not everybody, very few, I'm finding like it at all. I'm like, okay, that's good. I have a hireable skill. This is good. And so, but that's the thing is, like you said, do what you like, be passionate about it. Have you heard all the naysayers, or some of the naysayers? This is a debatable topic I hear about a lot. How important is it for someone to really be passionate about what they do? Like you brought up the example of the bakery shop that was a whole metaphor that came out of the E-Myth Revisited. But in your opinion, how important is that? Some say, oh, forget that. Don't worry about being passionate. Just find something that'll make you money. If you're trying to do something you're passionate about and trying to make money at it, well, you're in for a steep climb. What's your philosophy on that?
My philosophy is very simple. Do something that you really enjoy. And so do I really enjoy sourcing and providing distant assistance? Yes, absolutely. And when I first started this, there was a light went off. When I first started, I was actually in a mastermind group, and they said, how are you getting these great people? And I said, oh, well, here, have one. They go, you need to make a business out of this. And I said, really? Because I had a creative web agency and all that. And I was not passionate about building websites, zero passion. Made decent money, but not passionate. And I thought, I was still on that same track. I'm like, well, I can make a lot of money doing this, so I'm going to start this company. And it was like a year and a half into it, maybe. One of my clients rang me on a Saturday and said, hey, and I said, what the heck are you doing calling me on a Saturday? I almost didn't answer the phone. Dang, what are you doing? And I thought for a minute, maybe there was a complaint or something happened, so I was going to jump all over this. In any case, long story longer, he turns around and he says, well, I just wanted to say thank you. We hired our assistant 90 days ago. This is the first Saturday I'm taking off this year.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. Then the phone rustled away, and his wife said, thank you for giving me my husband back. Now, that changed the perspective on how I had no idea. I had zero idea.
Wow.
And now I'm not like, I want to do this for 1 million people. That's impossible. I want to do it for 500. I want to be there because we can still offer good personal touch. I want to be that small company that plays big. I want to remain small through growth and affect people that way. Like, that's magical. The other thing that is key to the whole thing is work with people that you want to work with.
Yes.
So we're very selective. I have no problem firing a client. Do I like it? No, absolutely not. But if I hear mistreatment or something going on with one of our assistants, oh man, dad comes out. Like, I don't know what happens.
I love it.
It's also the same on the other shoe though. If we have a DA that is not showing up or not doing what they're supposed to, I'll be as equally as hard on them, and we'll blacklist them, and that's not a good thing. When other companies find out that we've blacklisted somebody, they know they've done something wrong. That said, we've never had one instance of theft. We have had instances where people didn't show up or they didn't respond in timely manner and stuff like that, and they all know that. So we want to try and make this relationship with them completely focused on supporting our clients from a leadership role. We have a Jedi mind trick. All of our DAs are leaders. And I tell the client this, but and they go, well, how am I going to be the leader? He's my boss or she's my boss. You're going to be the leader because you're going to ask the most questions. So that's the mindset that we use with our assistants, so they can learn and absorb so much more. And our clients actually respect that.
This is oh my gosh, this is gold. This is gold. I'm loving this. And another thing leaders do is solve problems, solve issues without unnecessarily bothering their client or the person that has and that's something. I have a VA right now. I call her my primary. She is that. She will do things I don't even ask her to do. All of a sudden I see memes going up on my Instagram account. I go, where did that come from? Like, and she knew. I mean, I had them done in the past. She saw them and kept it going by creating more. And she's putting in phrases that she knows that are phrases, I would say, or they were lifted directly out of a past show. This show we're doing right now, as an example, will get transcribed and put up on our website for all to see. Jaime Jay forever. This is going to be awesome. And as she does that, she edits a little bit of the written word. And that's another thing. As a result of doing that, she ends up talking like yours truly, which is kind of weird at first. And then you're like, well, this is cool though, because of how this can.
But was it like that in the beginning?
No, not at all.
Right. So that's the thing the reason I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is super important. So many people that go out and hire, they say, oh my gosh, if this is what you're thinking, this is the big indicator that you could heavily use an executive assistant. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to train. I can do it faster. That's number one. The second thing is thinking that it's going to be so much easier when you hire somebody. Oh my gosh, I got to get this stuff done. I just need a behind in the seat to get this done. Nope. If those are things that you're thinking, you really need to discover some kind of an opportunity to hire somebody, whether it's not even have to be Bottleneck, but you're at that point where you need to find somebody, but you need to be slow to hire and quick to fire. Yeah. And what's really important here, and you said it yourself, it's harder in the beginning. You need to set your expectations in the very beginning. That's why we have 60-day onboarding. We've got a lot of support and a lot of guidance, but you're here. You know it. They're here. You can hire somebody with so much experience and you think they're just going to take over. But that's the biggest challenge. Sometimes I get people saying, I just had this the other day, one of our potential clients, he's getting ready to hire somebody. He got 3 candidates that he's going to be interviewing. And he said, none of these people have leadership backgrounds. And I said, I beg to differ. While they have a little bit of the knowledge that you're seeking, you can train on systems and processes, but you cannot train on personality. The challenge he's experiencing right now is he doesn't have anybody that wants a leadership role. These 3 people were hungry for a leadership role and they had fantastic personalities. And I know that because the personality assessment aligned with his personality, with exactly with what he was wanting. So you have to be able to go into a relationship knowing that it's going to be harder in the beginning. Things you think you're busy now, get ready to bring somebody else on and get them up to speed how they need to be up to speed. But once you hit that 60 days and 90 days, and I don't know how long has your assistant been with you?
Almost 2 years now, but it was, I tell this to people that I have referred many people to this agency. Let me switch that or add yours to it. We'll see. I'm really intrigued and leaning in more and more as I learn more about what you're doing. But I tell people, I said, look, I'm referring them to this agency, telling them I've got the VA that ends all the VA. She's the best and she is awesome. Oh, I want that too. Okay. But I want you to know, please take this to heart. Give it I tell them 3 months. I said, it takes time to establish a rhythm with a new person. It's like a whole new relationship. It takes time to establish expectations. It takes time to establish culture, all these things that go with it. And then it takes time to get their trust, full buy-in. It's a two-way street. It's not one way.
Absolutely.
And do the best you can. What I would advise people before they come to you as a service or anyone is start now documenting all your processes. And documenting it does not mean you have to type it all out. In fact, I'm doing that as we speak. I continually update my SOPs. I'm doing it now. I have written Google Doc that's accessible by my team, and inherent to it, I have links to videos that further describe exactly point by point, step by step, how to do those steps. I give them an overview sentence and then say, dig in, this is where you go. And have those in place. Start building those. They don't have to be perfect. Just say, they're all in this folder. If you need help, go click on this video. And if you can't follow, this is what I say. I don't say this out loud, but it's kind of obvious. If you can't follow these instructions, then you cannot be part of my team, because they are that simple. Make them simple, not to the 5th grade level. Sometimes maybe, but if you have to go that level, then they're not qualified to do what you're asking them to do, because a lot of stuff I do is tech based. And I got lucky. I'm going to say it. I got lucky with this VA. She ended up having a greater talent base and a drive and a hunger to learn more than I could have ever asked for. And she is slowly and surely becoming my executive. I love that term much better. Executive assistant. I've made her program manager for now 2 of my clients who are doing their own live video shows. So she is taking the helm, and I'm there for her. I'm there. We're in a group chat area so that I can see all the messages in case she needs some help. And the whole point of all this is to emphasize what Jaime is saying, which is it will take time. Don't expect a miracle the second you hire one of Jay's DAs and they come in. It's not going to be all perfect and pretty and awesome from the get-go. But boy, just think of the outcome. Think of 90 days down the road where you can take that first Saturday off. I mean, my gosh, that is an amazing feeling. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that, because that's what happens. The other thing that happened to me, Jaime, that I think would help for people that are considering your service is what it does is it frees you to think of other things. I used to have so many people come to me, Brian, you do all this automation. Can you help me with this automation system? The answer would be yes, but I'm not going to. Why? I don't have the time. Or can you help me to build a website? Or I need to pull a website from one service like Confusionsoft. Oh, did I say that out loud? Over to P Connector, which is mine. And I'd say, I would in the old days say no. Now I'm saying, yeah, let me look into that, because I have a team. And I'll go back to them and said, here's the issue. How long do you think it'll take? How many hours? I get them to tell it. I say, okay, I know what I pay them an hour. I'll do my markup. I'll go back to them. Here's my offer. They say yes, and I just hand it over to the VA team. I'm done, and I just made money. It's like it just so expands your mind beyond, and that's just one tiny example. Yep. But even to this day, I'm finding myself, oh, geez, that's right. I can go ask my VA for this, or the team, because we have a manager that then will drop in other VAs that have different talent and skills on if we request them. And it's just do it. If you haven't done it, go to bottleneck.online and book a consultation. Talk to Jaime's team. And look, Jaime didn't come on here thinking or knowing I was going to be helping promote him, but I know this guy well enough to say I would go to the mat for this guy. He's gone to the mat for all of us, the United States of America, being a U.S. Army paratrooper. That tells me enough right there. But then meeting you and getting to know the essence of you, learning about what you like to do, the relationship you have with your wife is a gem. Just everything about you resonates. And I think I have absolutely zero hesitation or resistance in saying, everybody, meet Jaime. Sorry, that's your last name, so that works still too. But go reach out to Jaime and get involved. Just get your questions answered and see if it's a fit. At least do that for yourself. Go that one step, that very scary one step. That once you get on the horn, and if Jaime's the one that answers or any one of his team, you're just going to go, oh, they're friendly and they're here to help me. Just do it. That would be my.
You know, you pass along some questions that you might go into, and so I asked the team for help, and we don't use the word help here. I shouldn't have said help. They know there's 3 words we don't use. That's one of them. So I asked the team for support and some guidance, and I said, and we have this little chat thing on there, and I said, "Hey guys, how would you describe the culture here at Bottleneck?" Because I wanted it to come from them, not from me. Mike D says, driven, diversified, dedicated. Raina says, one thing that comes to mind is support. Even if we don't ask, the support will always be there. Family. We have one another's backs. We celebrate the wins and losses, whether personal or business, together. We celebrate birthdays, hail accomplishments, cry together, and revel in camaraderie as family would. I love each and every one of the team here at Bottleneck. And then Chanel, our bookkeeper's motivator, inspires and encourages everyone to become a better version of themselves. This is all uncoached. This is me asking them how they feel. And every January, we have everybody rewrite their own job roles and responsibilities. They want to do what they want to do or where they want to thrive. So we can create a role for them. And because they've documented everything that they've done, it's so much quicker and easier to bring somebody in to perform the tasks of that role, because it's all done literally step by step by step by step. And that learning curve is drastically reduced from, I mean, the first time I hired a writer, it took me 6 weeks. The second time I hired a writer, up and running in 2 weeks, doing our blog posts, doing everything that we needed. It's such an amazing thing. The challenge is, do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it. Document it. If you just imagine the things you just despise doing, if you just did it one more time, would you be happy that someone else could come in and do it? And by documenting it, that role with the responsibilities inclusive of that role are going to be done either up to your level or exceeding your level of expectations. And they're spending all the time. So the likelihood of improving it is amazing. And once you get all that junk out of here, creativity opens wide up.
So you know what I like to call that? I call that a bomb dropping moment right there. Yes. Smart bombs, knowledge bombs, bombs of wisdom. That is Jaime Jay right there. Yes, because I love it. I couldn't wait to drop that on you. You get what I did there? So you said something that, oh my gosh, you are the only other person I have ever heard say this other than yours truly. And I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back. It's just what you're doing as far as having your team document their own work. That is what I've been telling people that I've done with my team. And I basically tell them, I say, because I feel my people are part of my systems. It's not just documents and automation and machinery. It is your people that also constitute your systems. And I say, because I do the same exact thing, I say, I'll give them guidance on a task. I'll give them, and I'll just say, if you need help, let me know. But typically I just say, if I need a video or let's say a graphic done, here are the branding colors, here are the fonts, just wow me. And they always do. I said, you can do far better than I could. I would put something together. I'm very rigid and numerical and all that stuff. And they blossom. So I just say, do what you do. But then when you do it, I want you to record it and narrate what your thoughts are. What are the things you're doing? What tools are you using that maybe others might not use? Just record it. And the cool thing is that now what I say is I have my systems building my systems.
Yeah.
And it's like, and here's the other beautiful thing, Jamie, you've probably experienced this too, is that, so sometimes I will do the first rendition of a video to teach somebody because it might be involved. And then I say, now that you've done it, it's repeatable. You talked about repeatable process. Now that you've done it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, I would like you to record your version of it, because you have no doubt figured out more efficient ways, better ways that suit you better, that make it easier for you. Maybe they have a slower internet connection. They found a different way to do it. I don't know. But I just say it'll come off better from you than it will from me, because I'm not doing it day to day. I did it one time. I figured out how to do it. And I said, here's how you do it. And then after that, I never, ever have to review their video, because the proof is when the next person comes in, did you have any questions? Were you able to accomplish a task? No questions. Everything was very easy to follow. I said, perfect. So I had to spend zero time. All I said was, please record when you do it the next time.
Yep. And
it's an ungodly, game-changing, time-saving. They feel that they're getting a piece. They own a piece of your company by they feel ownership of that task. They feel ownership of being a leader.
They get empowered. Yeah.
Yes. And I liken that to, I always refer to that very book you picked out, unbelievably, that was phenomenal. The E-Myth Revisited, because he talks about the 3 stages: technician, manager, and investor. And I always tell them, you're a technician, I'm going to teach you manager. I'm going to start weaving that in. And as you are building, teaching, and training materials, you are becoming a manager. That is a manager's role, not a technician's role, because you are doing that for the purpose of training others that come after you or beside you or next to you. And that's part of a leadership role. And they love it. I had apprentices for, gosh, 3 or 4 years that came in. They worked 90 days. That was it. End of story. It was done. There was no extension. They knew it. I knew it. They were going to be there for 90 days and done. So I learned quickly how to create these systems and had them do the same thing, record. They're gone. They're nowhere to be seen. The next apprentice came in and I didn't have to review the videos. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is gold, because that is what works. And I hope a lot of people employ and implement. They really don't even have to. All they have to do is go to Jaime Jay at bottleneck.online, and it will be part of the system. And you'll be, oh my God. I mean, just think about that. I'm thinking about it right now. No one has to learn this stuff. They're going to be immersed in an environment that already operates in that stuff. And that's what's so beautiful about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And by the way, Jamie didn't pay me for any of this. It may sound like it, because I'm starting to think about, like, man, I'm really pumping this guy up, but I feel it. I think it's genuine. And no, he didn't pay me anything.
Well, I'll pay you with a compliment. This is fantastic. No, I seriously believe there's another leader in our industry, and the guy he's been doing it since 2008. He's got a ton of experience, and he said something the other day I never knew how to put this in words until he said it. And I noticed you were saying that, and I don't even know if you knew this, but he says, you start your company and I'm doing the workflows. I'm doing the bookkeeping. I'm building the websites. I'm doing this. But all of a sudden it becomes we're starting to do this. I'm still involved and I'm still overseeing. It's at that point when it turns from we to they. And when you experience that difference where you're focused on vision and mission and creativity and new ideas and tackling this, the last several hires of my internal team, I should say of our internal team, I didn't even interview. I didn't even bring them on board. I didn't do any training. They were all trained from the systems developed from the earlier team members that were there. Now we can start saying they, and that game changer. You need to start somewhere. And like you said in the very first, earlier in the show, start documenting today. Not even if you're planning on hiring right now, it doesn't matter. Document in your systems. It'll do 2 things. It'll give you confidence so that you can delegate with authority. It will also help you be aware of creating that foundational system that will increase your valuation should you choose to exit years down the road. I know if I'm ready to get out and I want to exit, which I'm not, but if I choose to, I'm not going to sign a deal and sell my company where I have to stay on board for another year or 2.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And you do that all through documentation and workflows and processes.
Yeah, a mentor of mine brought this up and trained this from stage, and it was basically build your business from the it doesn't matter if you've just started or if you're already building your business deep into it, but build your business with the intent to sell, whether or not you ever do sell it. That was the important part, because many people don't ever want to sell, they think, but if you build it in such a way that you could just literally hand it over to somebody and show them, well, I don't need to show them how to do everything, but all I have to do is show them where all the elements exist that will show them exactly how to operate the business. Yep. Then you've done your job.
And what happens, God forbid, I step in front of a bus. What does my wife do?
Exactly.
Right? She knows how to come right. She'll come in and know how to do everything.
I think she'll just come and push you out of the way if you step in front of a bus.
Would. Yeah.
And let's hope that never happens to either one of you. In all seriousness, my God, I just looked at the time. Holy criminy! I knew it. I knew it was going to happen, Jamie. We've gone over 5 minutes, and the saying goes, "Jimmy crack corn," and I don't care. He's like, I don't know what.
I don't know.
It's an old song, like Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. It's anyway. I don't even know what it means. Jimmy crack corn. What does that mean? I don't care. So I did promise everyone that came on and watched and stuck on to the end with us live that I would reveal how they can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And that is compliments of the big insider secrets, that red and white stamp looking logo on the upper right. That is my dear, dear friend, Jason Nast, who is newly married. Oh, it's a fantastic, wonderful wedding that we witnessed at sea on a cruise with them just a couple weeks ago. And they actually, I'll say they, because they are now a team, officially and formally, they offer this so that we can offer it to you each and every week. So I'm going to put it on the screen, write it down, because we're not quite done yet. I hope you can stick around a little bit longer, Jamie, because I like to end every show with a very profound question to kick it off. It's always a great one. But real quick, I'm going to put it on the screen. So don't go join it, or don't go to this website yet. Write it down now. You'll have plenty of time. Even when the show's over, we'll keep monitoring it and choose the winner. So what you'll want to do is go to, or write this down, ryp.im/vacation. Again, it's RYP. That stands for Reach Your Peak, which is my business. Reach Your Peak. So it's ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. Write that down. And then after this incredible, heavy-hitting, profound final question that I asked Jamie, who's going, what the heck is this question going to be? Then you can go and enter to win. Sound good? Everyone, say yes out there.
Yes.
Thank you, Jamie, for your participation. So yeah, this question, I can't believe we're at the end already. We're going to have to do a follow-on. And I definitely want to have more chats with you about your team and everything that's going on. I mean, the same thing. I never say they work for me. I say they work with me. And Absolutely. I say we a lot when I talk about it's my company, I own it and operate, but I never say my. I say our. I doesn't exist, and it's fun to catch myself. We, not I. When you're in that conversation with somebody. Anyway, this last question that I love to ask every person that comes on this show. Hopefully, you didn't cheat and see it before. That's fine. I say cheat fun. What is cool about it is it's very profound, and it can be actually a little personal. That's what makes it so powerful. But the good news about this is that there is no such thing as a wrong answer, Jamie. None. It doesn't exist. Yeah, it takes it all. In fact, the only correct answer is yours. It's like, wait a minute, you ask this every show. How can my answer be right? Someone else's had to have been right. That's a thought provoker, isn't it? So I know it's a big buildup, but that really, the only thing that what happens is the answer will be unique to you. And that's the only thing that makes it personal. So it's not like getting into your knickers about personal life or anything like that. So with all that wonderful buildup, are you ready for the big question, Jamie?
I'm ready.
Oh, I knew you would be. I mean, come on. He's a former U.S. Army paratrooper, for crying out loud. He jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. So here we go. All right, here we go. Jaime Jay, how do you define success?
Oh, how do I define success? I embrace 3 core things: adaptability, resilience, and effective communication. And I think if you put that and you're very intentional about every single conversation and everywhere that you are at that specific time, and focus on those 3 things during conversations or during research, be intentional about it. That's what I say is the success of being an entrepreneur, because it's what you do behind the scenes. It's not all the red carpets and all that everybody gets to see. It's all that hard work, and that's where the passion comes from. I believe in my heart that the passion drives you to do all those difficult things, because you know you're going to be rewarded with things like talking to Brian Kelly here. So I think that's my definition of success.
And you know how this has to end, don't you, Jamie?
How does it
Another bomb run for the one and only Jaime Jay.
That's awesome.
What an absolute joy, pleasure, blessing to have you on. I appreciate you. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing it with those who listened and watched live. For those who will come on late, we had some comments. I didn't even have time to bring those up. I apologize for those who did. I found one of them was one of my very first apprentices I ever had. This is going back many years. I was like, wow, I haven't seen her in ages. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And in fact, let me bring her up just to prove it for people. But there it's me, Eliza. Yes, Elizabeth Mustera. She was
oh my gosh.
And she was nice to see you again live. And
oh, that's awesome.
This is that question. I most ultimate success, a question about success. Of like, oh, she said that way before the end of the show. She even remembered it. Wow, that was freaking awesome. So appreciate you, Jamie. My gosh. And you have so many great things in the works. I can't wait to see those cabins when you have those ready. I hope I'm not giving away anything secret, but I think it's a great idea. Look, everyone watching, listening, please, if there's any part of you saying, should I take that leap of faith? Should I reach out to Jamie? The answer is yes. If that is at all going through your mind, even if you don't think you're ready to bring on a team, you'll be surprised. You might be more ready than you ever thought possible. In fact, if you have a business and you don't have help, you are ready. You just may not know it, because once you get the help and then you go through that process, the first few months of, what I call building a rhythm together with your first DA, then you're going to go, my God, why didn't I do this sooner? I'm not kidding you, because that's what happened with me. So go to bottleneck.online and book your consultation, if nothing else, to roll the dice and see if you get get signed up to talk to Jamie himself. You never know. You might get lucky. He might be the one next on the Rolodex that rolls over in his calendar appointment system. So anyway, with all that, Jamie, I just want to say thank you once again. Do you have one maybe parting nugget of wisdom? Let's say you have an entrepreneur that's struggling, just starting out. What would be one big tip that you could give them that would help catapult them, given everything you've been through in your personal life? You've been through a lot and you've overcome it, and being a paratrooper and everything you've learned in your life. What would be one passing last bit of advice you would give a budding entrepreneur?
Well, thank you, Brian, for having me on. And I just have to give you kudos too, because I've seen what you've done with your process, and you were kind enough to show it, and it was fantastic. And for you, it comes easy. And so for people that are working with you, they need to understand how much better of an opportunity they're going to have, or experience they'll have with you, because of what you've done in the background, because of the infrastructure you've built. And that's huge kudos, because so many people strive for that. And you said something that was key. Once you create that foundation, you need to consistently update it. And that didn't fall on my ears lightly. I just wanted to bring that up, because that's why you're able to do what you do. And that's most likely why people remain with you month in and month out, because they know that it's handled. They have the confidence because you have that system in place. And so I would say that one budding word of wisdom or phrase that I might share with somebody is, it's so important to understand what that vision is, and don't make it all a bunch of jubbly stuff. Just go from your heart. Where do you see this thing going? What do you want out of life? And the more honest you are with yourself about that vision, about the direction that you want to go in, not the way that you're going to get there, but the direction, the more aligned those of the people that are going to be working with you, they're going to understand it, and they're going to fight, and they're going to do everything they can for you. But also your vendors or anybody else, your clients, they're going to align with those values of that vision. So I would recommend just really thinking about what you want to be doing, where you see yourself in 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, and then draft a vision that is, no industry jargon, just you. And that's how you align people that agree with your values.
Whew, baby, I love it. And I love you like a brother. Thank you, Jaime Jay. You are amazing, man. I appreciate you, and I could talk to you for another 5 hours. I know it's later where you are in the country, but man, you're a paratrooper. You can stay up all night and still keep but I appreciate you, and please, for everyone out there, this is the end of our show. We have to sadly bring it to an end, but what I like to do is ask you just to do two things and only two things. One is do everything you can to crush it in your business and serve more people. And number two, most importantly, everyone, please be blessed. That's it for now. I'm Brian Kelly, the Mind Body Business Show. This has been Jaime Jay of Bottleneck.online. Until next time, we will see you again. And I cannot wait for that time to come. Here we go. So long, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.